Okay, so let's do 8.3, number 14. Now, we are graphing this and we are finding the modulus, which, remember I just described. The modulus is the distance from the origin, or the length from the origin to the point you're graphing. So the first thing we want to do here is put this in a plus bi form. Now, if you're looking at this, you'll notice that it is not in that form. So what we need to do is split this up. So we're dividing by one term. So I can divide both terms by that one term. So it's going to give me the negative square root of 2 over 2 plus, and then I'm going to divide this term, and that's going to give me the square root of 2 over 2i. All right, so in this case, my a, the real part, is negative square root 2 over 2. B, my imaginary part, is the square root of 2 over 2. All right, so let's look and see what the graph of this is going to look like. So I'm going to draw my axes. I've got my real axis and my imaginary axis. So the real part is negative square root 2 over 2. If you plug that in your calculator to get an approximation, that's about 0.7. So let's just mark this off. So I'm going to mark, let's say this is 1. All the way around. All right, so I'm going on the real axis, I'm going negative, so I'm going to the left, square root of 2 over 2, so negative 0.7, and then on the imaginary axis, I'm going up, square root of 2 over 2, which is about 0.7, so I'm looking at that point about right there. All right, so this is the graph. Now, I want to find the modulus. So I'm looking for that length right there. Now, one thing you could do is, if you don't want to learn this formula, remember, you could just drop a triangle. We've got a right triangle. The length I went over, this would be the square root of 2 over 2. I went up the square root of 2 over 2. And so I could just use my Pythagorean theorem, because I am trying to find this length right here. All right, but also remember that our modulus is going to be, and so you would take this length squared plus this length squared would be this length squared. So I would take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root, and it's going to be a squared, which is the square root of 2 over 2 squared, plus b squared, and that was negative. And this is square root 2 over 2, and that's positive squared. When I square negative, it becomes positive, so that negative really didn't matter anyway. But that's going to give me square the top, square the bottom, so that's going to give me the square root of 2 over 4 plus 2 over 4, which is the square root of 1/2 plus 1/2. And 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So we're looking at the square root of 1, which is just 1. So this length, this modulus, is 1.